solubility and pressure. That is the second factor upon which solubility depends. So the dependence of solubility on pressure. So second factor, pressure. As you know, pressure has an important role on the solubility of gases only. For gases, pressure has an important role because gases are compressible, and when pressure increases, the solubility of the gas also increases because the gas is compressed. So when pressure, you're right, when pressure increases, solubility of gases, solubility of gases, solubility of gases increases. Solubility of gases increases. And vice versa. That means when pressure decreases, the solubility of gases decreases. So pressure has a significant role in the solubility of gases. See, as a general rule, when pressure of the gas increases, solubility increases. And when pressure decreases, solubility decreases. So pressure and solubility are directly related. But pressure has no significant role on the solubility of liquids and solids because liquids and solids are incompressible. So since the next point, since liquids and solids, you can write since liquids and solids are incompressible, 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 pressure has no significant role on the solubility. Pressure, pressure has no role. It has no significant role on the solubility. On the solubility. So pressure has significant role on solubility of gases only, while liquids and solids, the solubilities are independent of pressure. The question will be like this. Solubility of liquids and gases are independent of pressure. Why? That's the question asked. And what will be your answer? Answer is this. Can you say the answer? The answer is liquids and gases are incompressible. And so pressure has no significant role on the solubility. Okay. You know, when pressure increases, solubility increases that we have seen. Say, for example, you take solubility of oxygen, nitrogen, etc. Similarly, hydrogen chloride, etc. Can say that when pressure increases, solubility also increases. We can say the application when we make, say, aerated water or soda or effervescent drinks. In the effervescent drinks and soda water or aerated water, carbon dioxide is dissolved under high pressure. So, to dissolve carbon dioxide under high pressure, say soda bottle as well as soft drink bottles are sealed under high pressure. So that is the direct relation of the application of pressure on solubility. Okay. More details we can see in the next session. Now you come to the third factor, which the third factor which influences the solubility of gases. Third factor is third one, that is temperature. Temperature. Say, how does temperature affect the solubility? Temperature affect solubility. You know, when certain solutes dissolve in a liquid, the change is exothermic. But in some cases, the change is endothermic. Endothermic. Say, for example, you take solubility of quicklime or calcium oxide in water. So when calcium oxide or quicklime is added into water, what happens? The temperature increases and the mixture boils. The mixture begins to boil. That is, the change is exothermic. You take the solubility of ammonium chloride or potassium iodide in water, and you can observe the outer side of the test tube. Can see that water drops are formed on the outside of the test tube. That's because when ammonium chloride dissolves in water, the change is endothermic. Endothermic. So in general, we can say the dissolution of salt may be exothermic or endothermic. Let us take the case of exothermic change. As you know, what is exothermic change? Exothermic change is one in which there is liberation of energy, there is a release of energy of any form, for example, heat energy. And what is endothermic change? We have studied that in the 10th standard and in the 11th standard also. Endothermic means a change in which energy is absorbed. For example, heat energy is absorbed. Now let us see the influence of temperature on the solubility. If the dissolution of a solute in a solvent is exothermic, so we can say like this: if the dissolution, if the dissolution, you write dissolution, dissolving, that is dissolution. If the dissolution is exothermic, exothermic, suppose it is exothermic. If it is exothermic, what will be the nature of a delta H value? If it is exothermic, what will be the sign of delta H value? It is negative minus. If it is negative, delta H will be less than 0. So exothermic means delta H is, what is the value? Negative. That means less than 0. Less than 0. Or we can say delta H is negative. Say negative value. That is exothermic. So if dissolution is exothermic, what happens to solubility when temperature increases? When temperature increases, exothermic change decreases. Exothermic change decreases. So to increase the exothermic change, we have to decrease the temperature. When the change is exothermic, energy is released, and if temperature is increased, exothermic change decreases. So we can write, if the dissolution is exothermic, that means delta H less than 0, or delta H is negative, comma, then solubility, you can complete. Solubility decreases. Solubility decreases when temperature increases. Temperature increases and vice versa. Temperature increases, solubility decreases. When temperature increases, the solubility decreases if the change is exothermic, and vice versa. What is vice versa? If the change is exothermic, solubility increases when temperature decreases. Solubility increases when solubility increases when temperature decreases. Solubility increases when temperature decreases. Or as it is written, solubility decreases when temperature increases. Okay, let us take say endothermic change. If the change is endothermic, what will be the sign of the delta H value? What will be the sign of delta H? If dissolution is endothermic, that means delta H is greater than 0, or delta H of solution, that is positive. Delta H is positive. That is, energy is absorbed. So if the dissolution is endothermic, that is, delta H is greater than 0, same as delta H is positive, then what will happen to the solubility when temperature increases? When temperature increases, solubility increases. So you can write solubility increases. Solubility increases when temperature increases. Temperature increases. When temperature increases, solubility increases, and vice versa. That means solubility decreases when temperature decreases. The condition is this: the process of dissolution is endothermic. So that is the effect of temperature and pressure on the solubility of solutes in, say, liquids, for example, solvent, for example, liquid. Now let us see the dependence of solubility on pressure of the gases in detail. And for that, we have to study a law known as Henry's law. So let us go to, say, Henry's law. Henry, we have studied that. The last year, we have studied Henry's law. And in the previous classes also, we have studied Henry's law. So the next point, Henry's law. Henry's law. What is Henry's law? Henry's law gives us the quantitative relationship between solubility of a gas in a liquid. The quantitative relationship between the solubility of a gas in a liquid. And what is the statement of the law? The law can be stated in various forms. Let us see the various forms of Henry's law. The one statement is like this: Henry's law. Say solubility, you write the statement, solubility of a gas, solubility of a gas in a liquid is directly proportional to, it is directly proportional to partial pressure of the gas, proportional to partial pressure partial pressure of the gas, pressure of the gas above the liquid or the solution. So solubility of the gas in a liquid is directly proportional to the partial pressure of the gas above the liquid or solution. Solubility of a gas is in a liquid is directly proportional to partial pressure of the gas. That is one of the statements of Henry's law. Solubility of a gas is directly proportional to partial pressure of the gas above the liquid. Now, solubility is the same as the concentration of a saturated solution. Concentration of a saturated solution. Concentration can be expressed in the mole fraction term also. So instead of solubility, we can use the mole fraction term. So solubility can be replaced. It can be replaced by mole fraction of the gas in the solution. Do you follow what I say? The initial statement of the law is like this. Solubility of a gas in a liquid is directly proportional to partial pressure of the gas. Partial pressure of the gas. But solubility is the same as concentration of the solute. Do you agree with that? Solubility is the same as concentration of a saturated solution. Solute in the saturated solution. Concentration of a saturated solution. But the concentration can be expressed in terms of a mole fraction of the solute. Here the solute is the gas. Solute is the gas. So we can replace solubility by means of the mole fraction of the gas in the solution. Do you follow the argument? Follow the argument. And based on that, we can write another statement for Henry's law. Another statement for Henry's law. And the statement is like this. We are going to replace solubility by mole fraction of the gas. Gas is the solute here. Gas is the solute. So mole fraction of the gas in solution. So what we can write instead of solubility, mole fraction of a gas in a solution is directly proportional to partial pressure of the gas about the solution. That is another statement of Henry's law. So instead of solubility, we use the mole fraction of concentration. Concentration in terms of a mole fraction. So we can use the mole fraction of the gas. Gas is the solute. Mole fraction of the gas in solution. So we can write Henry's law in another way. Just like this. Mole fraction, you right? Mole fraction of a gas. Mole fraction of a gas. Instead of a solubility, you write mole fraction of a gas in a solution. In a solution, mole fraction of a gas in a solution is directly proportional to directly proportional directly proportional to partial pressure of the gas. Partial pressure of the gas above the liquid or above the solution. We are simply replacing solubility of the gas by mole fraction of the gas. That is the only change. Instead of solubility, we use the term mole fraction of the gas because solubility is the same as concentration of a saturated solution. Concentration is mole fraction of the solute. Here the solute is the gas. So concentration means solubility of the gas in the solution. So we can state Henry's law in another way. Mole fraction of a gas, that is the concentration. Mole fraction of a gas in a solution, solutional liquid, is directly proportional to partial pressure of the gas. That is another alternative statement of Henry's law. Is it all right? All right. So we can write, say, a mathematical formulation, that is the equation form of Henry's law. Here we have mole fraction of the gas. Say mole fraction is equal to X. Suppose mole fraction of the gas, that is equal to X. And that is directly proportional to partial pressure of the gas. Let it be P. Partial pressure of the gas, let it be P. You take the other way, X proportional to P. Instead of that, we can write P proportional to X. P proportional to X. Or we can write P is equal to a constant KH into mole fraction of the gas, that is X. So we get a relation like this. And that is the mathematical formulation of Henry's law. That is the Henry's law equation. P is equal to KH into X, where you can write if you want, you write where P is equal to partial pressure of the gas, partial pressure, partial pressure of the gas, partial pressure of the gas. Then you write X is equal to, below that you write X is equal to mole fraction of the gas. I believe that you are writing it. Okay. X is equal to mole fraction of the gas, mole fraction of the gas in solution, mole fraction of the gas in solution, gas in solution, and KH, that's a constant. And this constant is called Henry's constant or Henry's law constant. Henry's constant or Henry's law constant. Henry's law constant. P is equal to partial pressure of the gas, partial pressure of the gas. X is equal to mole fraction of the gas in solution, and KH is equal to Henry's constant or Henry's law constant. So let me write the Henry's law equation again, and it is like this. P is equal to KH into the mole fraction of the gas, that is X. That is the Henry's law equation. I have written it again, that's all. From this equation, we can see a relation between the solubility and Henry's constant. Solubility and Henry's constant. Suppose partial pressure of the gas is a constant. Yes, definitely it's a constant at constant temperature. At constant temperature, the partial pressure of the gas, that's a constant. So P is a constant in this relation, provided temperature is a constant. And if it is so, KH into X should be a constant. So If KH increases, KH increases, what will happen to the solubility of the gas X? Come on. Michael, can you say? Say P is a constant. P is a constant. Then KH into X should be a constant. So if KH increases, higher the KH value, what will be the mole fraction value X?
Yeah, X
If
will
a
be.
higher is the Henry's constant, then what about the solubility? Solubility of the gas. Can you
X
say? Where is
decrease.
Michael? Okay. So from this relation, KH into X should be a constant. And to maintain the product a constant, if KH is a higher value, KH is a higher value, then the solubility X is a lower value. That means higher the KH value, lower is the solubility of the gas. You write that higher, higher the higher the Henry's constant KH value, higher the KH value, Henry's constant value, then lower is the solubility. Lower is the solubility. Lower is the solubility. For example, you take, say, nitrogen, oxygen, etc. Their KH values are higher values. KH values are higher values. That means solubilities will be lower values. Do you know solubility of oxygen? Normally, solubility of oxygen, that is 5.8 to 6 ppm. Remember, 5.8 to 6 ppm. That is the normal value. In the polluted water, the value will be still lower. So, for nitrogen, oxygen, etc., the KH value will be higher. KH value will be higher. So, X value, solubility will be lower value. And the question will be like this. You will be given some gases with their KH values, and you will be asked to arrange the gases in the increasing order or a decreasing order of their solubility. Say the decreasing order or increasing order can be obtained from the KH value. That is, lower the KH value, higher the solubility. Higher the solubility. Higher the KH value, lower is the solubility. Okay. Come to the Henry's equation again. P is equal to KH into X. And that is similar to an equation to a straight line passing through origin. You know the relation. Y is equal to, say the relation like this. Do you remember the equation for a straight line? Equation for a straight line. Y is equal to mx plus c. That is one equation when there is y-intercept. Second one is y is equal to mx. See, y is equal to mx. And that is equation to a straight line passing through origin. And so, if we plot the partial pressure P against the mole fraction X, we will get a straight line passing through the origin. So the nature of the graph will be like this. We are going to plot the partial pressure P here along the y-axis. Y is equal to mx. Do you know this equation? Haven't you had this equation? Equation of the straight line passing through origin. Y is equal to mx. Equation of straight line which is having a
Yes,
y-intercept.
sir.
Y is equal to mx plus c. Okay. So in the place of y, there is the partial pressure P. And in the place of X, we have the solubility or mole fraction X. So you plot the mole fraction here along the x-axis. Then we get a straight line. See, a straight line passing through origin. That is the nature of the graph. Same, if you plot the values, we'll get a straight line, say like this. It's a straight line. So a plot of a graph of partial pressure P against mole fraction X. It's a straight line passing through origin according to Henry's law. And what about the slope of this? Say in the equation, y is equal to mx. M is the slope. And in the Henry's equation, in the place of m, we have kh. So slope of this, slope of the straight line, that is equal to kh. That is a kh. You will be asked, say a question like this, you will be given a plot like this. A plot is given this way. And you will be asked, what is the slope of the line? Slope of the line is the Henry's law constant kh. Slope is equal to the Henry's law constant kh. So a plot of partial pressure of the gas against a small fraction in solution. It's a straight line whose slope is equal to kh. So we can write another sentence. You write this. Say a plot means a graph. A plot of pressure, partial pressure against mole fraction, that is x, mole fraction x is a straight line. What is the nature of the graph? What is the nature of the curve obtained? Is a straight line. That is the nature. Say straight line. It's a straight line. It is passing through origin. Straight line passing through origin, passing through origin. You're right? Passing through origin, comma, whose slope is equal to, you can write, passing through, passing through, passing through origin, whose slope, is equal to, slope is equal to, slope is equal to Henry's constant. Henry's law constant or Henry's constant, that is kh. Henry's constant or kh, that is the slope. So we have got, say, another law, that is Henry's law. Henry's law. So it gives us a relation between the solubility or mole fraction of the gas and partial pressure of the gas. We have two statements. One is the solubility of a gas in a liquid is directly proportional to partial pressure of the gas. Or we can write another way, and it is mole fraction of a gas in a liquid, in a solution, is directly proportional to partial pressure of the gas. From that, we have the Henry's law equation. That is P is equal to kh into x. Here, kh is the Henry's constant. So a graph between the partial pressure P and the mole fraction x is a straight line. That is the nature. What is the nature of the graph? Straight line passing through origin with a slope is equal to the Henry's law constant kh. Okay. Now let us see the applications of Henry's law. Applications of Henry's law. Do you remember that also we have already seen applications of Henry's law? So next point is applications. Applications of applications of Henry's law. Applications of Henry's law. We have to see three applications. One application we have already seen in the beginning of the class, that is dissolution of gases in liquids at high pressures. Say, for example, carbon dioxide is dissolved in soft drinks and soda water under high pressure. So the bottles are sealed under high pressure. That is to increase the solubility. So to increase the solubility of carbon dioxide in soda water, in soda water, or in soft drinks. Soft drinks. Say carbon dioxide is dissolved under high pressure. Carbon dioxide is dissolved, dissolved under, dissolved under high pressure, high pressure. And so the bottle is sealed, and the bottle is sealed. Bottle is sealed. The question may be like this: what happens when a soda water bottle is opened? When soda bottle is opened, there is brisk effervescence. There is evolution of carbon dioxide gas. Because when the bottle is opened, the pressure is decreased and solubility of carbon dioxide decreases. So carbon dioxide is say it is fishing out from the solution. Then second one, that is about the scuba divers. See the cylinder, the oxygen cylinder carried by scuba divers, scuba divers. They carry oxygen cylinder, oxygen cylinder, oxygen cylinder containing 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 air diluted with diluted with helium. And the purpose of diluting with the helium, that is to avoid the problem, the condition known as bends. To avoid, to avoid to avoid bends. What is bends? That is the pain caused. Bends is a pain caused in the veins. Pain caused, pain caused due to formation of nitrogen bubbles, formation of nitrogen bubbles, in veins, and that is called bends. If it is diluted with helium, the amount of nitrogen can be decreased, and the amount of nitrogen dissolved in blood, that can be decreased. So bends, that is formation of the bubbles, nitrogen bubbles, and the pain that can be minimized. Then third one, say people living at high altitudes, high altitudes suffer from Anoxia, 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 a condition known as anoxia. And what is anoxia? Anoxia is a condition in which there is weakness for the person and a low thinking power. So, the low thinking power, memory power, the low memory power of the persons, and that is due to the lack of oxygen, the lack of oxygen in the atmosphere. At the high altitudes, the amount of air is less, so amount of oxygen is less. So during breathing, the amount of oxygen getting that is less. And due to less amount of oxygen, the people who are living at the high altitudes and the mountain climbers also, they have the problem of, say, losing the thinking power, and they suffer from, say, some kind of a body weakness, and that is called anoxia. Anoxia. So, the loss of thinking power or a memory, memory power due to due to less amount of less amount of oxygen oxygen in air oxygen in air. Similarly, if the amount of oxygen is less, there will be other body problems also, and such a condition is called anoxia. So all these things are related to Henry's law. So that's all about the dependence of pressure on the solubility of gases. And this is enough for today. Now it is time. Let me stop now. Thank you.